Welcome, everybody, to the That Kind of Nerd podcast, a weekly show where we're breaking down what's going on the internet and in nerd culture. Thanks so much for joining us. And apparently I can't speak, so whatever.
This is going to make for a great show.
It's going to make for a fantastic show. I welcome again my co-hosts, as I do every week, Brian Thornton and Josh Burns.
Hello.
Are you Mrs. Doubtfire? What was that?
That's what that was. I'm whatever you want me to be.
I want you to just be Brian.
Everything to everyone.
That's what I want. We got some awesome topics, and I'm kind of really excited to jump into it. As a heads up for all of our fans, I'll at least start off with this. We're not going to spoil or talk about the Deadpool movie too much this week.
You bastards.
So you can get some time to do that. We're recording this on Friday the 12th, and we haven't all seen it with the exception of Brian. Brian's the only one who's seen it so far.
Yep.
So just heads up. And then we got some viewer feedback and some viewer questions at the end of the show, so stick around. Don't want to miss that. Definitely want to hear what other people are saying right now. They have some good questions for us. So let's start off with some really cool things right off the bat. First off, I'm really excited to announce I think Batman vs. Superman finally got a really good trailer. I think I'm finally on board with liking a little bit more this movie.
That's just CJ's way of saying I'm not going to admit that Brian was right.
No, I still don't. I'm still not there yet. I think it looks better, but this movie isn't where it's supposed to be.
Neither one of you has been very excited about this movie. I've been excited about this movie the whole time. This trailer is great. I don't think it's all that much better than the other trailers, but this one was good.
Really I do. Good. I think I'm finally starting to get a story. I think which was my major complaint.
No, you finally got some fight scenes. That's it.
I mean, that big whole first half of the trailer, just Batman taking out an entire building of guys, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, the fight scenes were awesome.
But that's not the fight. I mean, when you say fight
scenes, you see that at the end.
How crazy would that be if that was the fight, CJ? They just named the movie Batman v Superman. It's just Batman taking out a ton of thugs.
Superman shows up. Hey, guys.
Superman's just like, good job, and then goes away.
They do the final scene as Batman goes to go punch Superman, and then, the block punch happens. Superman looks, and then it cuts to black. That's the end of the movie. Oh, well. But anyway, I like this. I think I got more of the story. Brian pointed out it was very nice to see Wonder Woman actually talk.
Yeah, she has a line. I was very excited for that. And she screams. She screamed in it too, which I was pretty excited for. It looks. I was very impressed with this trailer. It seemed like it was a more cohesive trailer than the past two. I mean, whether or not you think that the scenes or the story, or you get more of the story or whatever from it, like it doesn't seem like they just took a bunch of scenes and snipped them together. It seemed like an actual trailer. So I'm super stoked.
And yeah, Josh, we're not the only people who think that this is finally a good trailer,
I mean, I could be just in a really good mood because I'm coming off my Deadpool high, and I just love everything and everyone right now, except for CJ.
But this has given me a little more hope in this movie. I'm very excited for it.
I can't believe we're still talking about this.
Really?
No, I mean. The marketing is good. Their Super Bowl spots were phenomenal with the Turkish Air. That was awesome.
It was a commercial for an airplane.
It was terrible.
It wasn't. It was fictional.
I know it was fictional.
Come to Gotham City. We have, maybe you'll see the Batman.
Great marketing. Fantastic.
Turkish Airlines seemed like such a weird thing to partner for.
I'm sure there's something tongue in cheek there. So I don't know what the deal is, and I don't care. I can't believe we're still. This movie's gonna be awesome, and they're hyping it like it's gonna be awesome. I don't know why we're still talking about it.
You heard it here, folks. This movie is going to be awesome,
and that's the bottom line, because Josh Burns said so. All right. Well, moving on then to some news that took me a little bit by surprise. According to TheVerge.com, there is going to be a new Transformers movie every year for the next 3 years.
How did this take you by surprise at all?
I didn't think that the last movie with Marky Mark actually warranted a sequel.
Anything Transformers, total popcorn.
It makes a lot of money, and I mean, they're not. They're not just talking about doing 3 more. They're talking about doing a crossover universe with them and like GI Joe and Ghostbusters. I think it was.
That'd be fantastic.
They're talking about building an Avengers universe with the Transformers. So you have Optimus Prime right next to freaking Snake Eyes. How awesome would that be?
Well, but there was crossover there, right?
Yeah, they're both Hasbro. They're both owned by the same company.
Right. And at some point, I mean, you got to think that they get Scooby-Doo in the mix.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Right?
You know, if he's had like Optimus Prime hunting for some ghosts, I'd like that.
Well, there was Scooby-Doo crossover, right?
If Optimus Prime could say Jinkies, that would just make my entire life. Some Jinkies.
Does that mean that Liam Neeson comes back for Battleship? Is that what is that a hope I can?
That's
put
a
in my
Parker
head?
Brothers game. Now you're just mixing genres, dude. Come on.
Oh, I'm just thinking. Why not?
You're thinking wrong because you're mixing genres.
Okay. I mean, not really mixing genres. I'm mixing
Parker Brothers.
brands.
Parker Brothers don't mix with Hasbro. Now, if you wanted to
That's
make
a brand.
if you make the Monopoly movie crossed over with Battleship, like Boardwalk Empire with Alien Invasion, that would work.
Didn't we have a crappy movie with cowboys and aliens? I don't think we need to combine that together with the Boardwalk.
That was an okay movie.
No, that movie was bad.
Better comic book, but an okay movie.
You're again, every time you talk about the movie, now you're going down.
It's got Han Solo as a cowboy. I don't understand what the problem was.
So here's the fact that they kind of, again, why I'm wrong. There you go. You happy? Why I am wrong.
No. Why Brian is right.
Okay, why Brian is right.
There you
Transformers Age of Extinction, released in 2014, made $1 billion globally.
Yeah, that's not enough to make a sequel, CJ.
Yeah,
No
it's
way.
the 15th highest. So this is why I'm wrong. I'm sorry, why Brian is right. The 15th highest grossing film of all time, and then the second highest grossing film of the Transformers franchise.
Yeah,
But it
why would
only
they make
has
more of those?
But it only has an 18% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I just guess isn't
Well,
important.
do you know why that movie earned $1 billion and the Shia LaBeouf movies didn't necessarily?
Because of Marky
we got
Mark.
rid of was it Marky Mark?
2 words, Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg. And he signed
it.
on for at least this next one.
I actually thought
This has a few more.
I thought it was very. And Josh, I know this is actually kind of bad news for you because I know this is a big hit to your Aaron Paul Ghost Rider movie. Knowing that Marky Mark can't be involved in any way, I mean that's got to put production back a few months.
Wait, was Marky Mark in that? I'm really confused now.
Well, I figured with the way that Josh talks about Marky Mark that he would want him in the movie. But I think now that we're calling him Marky Mark, he's going to leave.
I also think that he should embrace his Marky Mark side because that's why we love him.
So here's the question I have. What are you expecting from 3 more Transformers movies with Marky Mark? We got dinosaurs. What's next?
Yeah.
Yes, explosions.
That's all I want out of a Transformers movie. All I want out of a Transformers movie is explosions. I want giant alien robots who turn into cars, fighting other giant alien robots that turn into other cars, and explosions. That's all I expect.
Is there any fan service or anything that you want to put in there? You're like, hey, I really hope that this villain or this hero or this weapon.
I want Hot
this
Rod.
thing.
I don't think we've seen Hot Rod yet.
Josh doesn't seem to have an opinion about what should happen.
I don't think Josh really was into Transformers growing up.
I was. I would like to see. I would like to see Soundstream have a tape deck.
Oh, Soundwave? actually be a boombox?
Soundwave,
I kind of like the updated version that he's a satellite, but I do miss the boombox, not going to lie. But it's so outdated. He'd have to turn into an iPod. He'd be
box with a little
he'd be a
iPod dock.
very tiny transformer.
And instead of the tape coming out and transforming, the iPod transforms into like a little doll.
No. Let's be honest. If it's going to be a transformer, it's going to be an android because it's got. I mean, come on, that just plays right into there. He's going to turn into like a little Nexus player or something, and then that gives Craig something to be happy about.
I mean, hang on, CJ. So a boombox was an '80s invention used to play music.
Right, but then you said liked his updated appearance, so we're not going to turn him into an iPod. We're going to make him an Android.
Let me finish my thought. What device do you use now to play music?
MP3 player?
Don't you dare say MP3 player. No one calls it an MP3 player. Everyone calls it an iPod.
Right, but it would be an
all
Android.
MP3 players are iPods. Not all iPods are MP3 players or something like that.
Anyway, I'm just trying to get some Android love. We're very Apple here. I thought I'd give Android a little.
Don't encourage them, CJ. Don't. So my friend. All right, look.
Those people listen to our show.
My friend Lauren, who joined my company a few months ago, hasn't been able to get access to certain work stuff on her phone because even though we're a Google-based company, Androids don't like these apps or profiles or whatever, and everybody else has an iPhone, works perfectly. So every time she complains about limited access on her phone, I go, I could solve the problem. Take you like a 30-minute trip to Verizon and fix it. We'll just get you an iPhone. We'll call it a day. Just works better, man.
Anyway, yeah, Soundwave would definitely have to be like an iPod.
But like an old one that weighed 8 pounds.
Yeah, like the classic.
The classic, right. Well, here's hoping
I had that.
Here's hoping that Transformers for the next 3 years continues to celebrate the work of Marky
When's the
Mark.
first one come out? 2017? Transformers 5? Yes.
Yep, 2017.
I'm super excited. Hopefully Peter
While we're
Cullen.
talking about all this, how about Jason Bourne getting sprung on us?
Yeah, you know what? That's so true. I'm sorry. The Super Bowl trailers, we never really talked about this, did we?
No.
The Super Bowl trailers were quite interesting, and I was just flat out floored that Jason Bourne was even there. I haven't even heard a rumbling of this movie, and boom, there it is.
And they let you think it was going to be some different Matt Damon movie, right?
Yeah.
And then 5 or 7 seconds into the trailer, you touch Jason Bourne, you go, holy crap, it's another Bourne movie. And no, Brian, I mean, we're all over the internet looking for movie news.
I knew about
how
this.
did we? Well, why don't you say something?
I completely forgot. I knew about it like last year. They said they were releasing it.
I actually hate you a little bit.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, did you just say last year?
Yeah, when they released like their summer schedules, it was on there, and I completely forgot about it amidst all the Deadpool, Captain America, Doctor Strange, Batman v Superman news, and then I hadn't seen a trailer.
How could you just let that get lost in the shuffle?
Because I hadn't seen
listen to that whole list.
Listen, I hadn't seen anything new about it until that trailer, and then I was like, "Oh, holy crap! Jason Bourne's coming out this year." I completely forgot. Oh, I'm super. It looks awesome. But yeah, I do like how they set it up like some regular Matt Damon action movie, and then it's just Jason Bourne freaking taking out SWAT teams and stuff. It's going to be awesome.
Will Jeremy Renner be in, I would assume, another couple movies afterward? I mean, they're going to combine forces at all? Do you think that's something that's possible?
I think it's possible, but to be honest with you, I've never read the books that they are based off of. So I'm not sure how that story is going to go, how Jeremy Renner's character fits in.
It doesn't. We're off the rails. Like
You've gone
I
around
thought there
the
was
bend?
only 3 books, and then that was it.
There was only
more than 3.
There were only 3 books written by the original author.
Okay, but there's more than 3 books in the series.
Oh yeah, it's the expanded universe of the Bourne whatever. But it's what I'm saying is it doesn't really. The books don't matter. We're off the rails, right? From the original Bourne story, we're far away from that. What I hope happens is they do a Matt Damon movie, they do a Jeremy Renner movie, and they do one where somehow they cross paths.
It's like it's just like Marvel. Yeah,
Does
path.
this formula somehow not work? Or does this not draw? I mean, is this not? Do people?
Are you not entertained by this?
Shut up and take my. Are you not entertained?
Right. No, you're absolutely right, and that would be awesome. I think that I'd be on board for that, no problem. I think that'd be a pretty cool thing to do. So, and speaking of
Brian's
the trailers,
sitting there looking at me smugly, like he doesn't give a shit.
I do.
I hate you.
No, you don't. Don't lie to yourself. You love me. So does everybody else.
speaking of these trailers, just so you know, you can actually find these all in one place. Brian put together a post on the 7th. Actually, at 7. Can you imagine that? 7th at 7? He was free?
Yeah, you know why I was free? I didn't care about the Super Bowl.
He did the Super Bowl, or as we shall now refer to it so we don't get sued, the big game, Nerdy Edition, and he put in all the trailers that were released during the program. So the other one that was on there is Captain America Civil War, We got another trailer.
Another
My only
30-second
question
trailer.
is, where the fuck is Spider-Man? Everything else about it was awesome.
30 seconds.
Did you see the picture? I think I posted on our Facebook page.
Oh, you know what, CJ? That trailer that they put out there, if that wasn't as good as the other ones, I'm really starting to worry about this movie. Fucking idiot. Are you serious?
I just said, where's Spider-Man? I just want to see Spider-Man. That's it.
You'll see him in the movie.
I'm not here to say I hate every movie in the world. I love movies.
But you will usually end up saying that.
Well, I'm worried about you guys being worried about me being worried about movies.
I'm not.
Anyway,
I'm not
this looks fucking awesome. It's great to see more of these guys on screen. And Brian, did this not break again more YouTube records?
Yeah, it's the highest downloaded streamed Super Bowl spot on YouTube. Again. Over Batman, Superman's Turkish Airlines bullshit.
Was it viewed more than that Doritos commercial?
I'm sure. Which Doritos commercial? With the one with the
Oh my
sonogram?
god, the very first one, yeah, with the ultrasound.
Yeah, I saw that. That was funny.
Nah.
I think my favorite Super Bowl commercial was the freaking T-Mobile C. Harvey
The T-Mobile
one.
one with Steve Harvey.
Yeah, that was
That
good,
was
yeah.
great. It was a great one.
Yeah.
All right, so the next one that was on that list for the Super Bowl was The Jungle Book. Anybody care? No. All right, great.
Whoa,
Yes,
whoa, whoa!
of
Shut
course.
your freaking whore mouth! I care.
Of course I care. Who didn't grow up on the Jungle Book?
And not only that.
Oh, guess what? MK Ultra didn't.
Oh, I'll call
man.
Ripley's.
Surprise, everybody.
You know, for someone who loves movies, you haven't seen a lot of them.
No. I didn't say I didn't see it. I didn't grow up on
The
it.
Jungle Book is Field of Dreams for 5-year-old boys. It's an absolute necessity. It's a rite of passage. It's the feels for little kids.
I still get the feels when I watch it, and I don't feel anything. It's tough.
That's what I'm saying is it brings out that kid in you, man. That's CJ, you are not a man of low integrity.
I'm telling you,
an unfeeling Russian.
I
agent.
don't believe CJ was born. He was.
Not even, I'm going to
hatched.
say Russian because that's me
Insulting to the
bad-mouthing
Russians? Is that what you're
Russians.
saying?
That's what I'm
You're a
saying.
Soviet agent.
CJ was hatched as a fully grown, horrible, no integrity adult. I don't think he ever.
Wow.
Maybe he's part of the Santaran strategy.
Yeah, I don't think he ever had a childhood.
Where are they keeping the real CJ alive? That's what I want to know.
Reading, Pennsylvania.
The real CJ is on a mothership, actually 3,000 years in the future,
In a pod.
in a pod,
Sent back in time to screw up our lives.
pretty much. Anyway, besides the pod people in the audience, everybody loves the Jungle Book. And this one is a live action version with freaking Bill Murray as Baloo. I mean, how could you not love that? And it's directed by Jon Favreau, who, if you don't know,
Score.
directed Iron Man 1 and 2. So it's going to be great.
I know him from Chef. Should I know him from Iron Man?
Oh my God. No, you should know him from Swingers.
That's right, from
Listener,
Swingers.
if
That's
I
very
am
true.
gone for an hour, it's because I'm driving to Allentown to punch CJ in the throat. Moron.
So let's talk about another one that I thought was great, and it has given new life into this movie as well, which is X-Men Apocalypse. What a fucking awesome trailer. This
That
movie
spot
just
was
gets better
solid.
and better every time I see
That
it.
spot was definitely solid. And
Absolutely.
watching Psylocke like just
Oh,
chop some things in half.
you beat me to it. You beat me to it.
Oh, that was so exciting.
Everything about that was, yes, keep showing me more. Don't stop marketing. When is this movie out? How come I'm not watching this movie? I just want to see this thing. I want to be part of it.
Those were all my thoughts about Olivia Munn during the
Did you see the thing she posted on Instagram with her doing some like just badass sword moves? She's just like flipping around and like doing some sword things, and then they pan over to the left, and Ryan Reynolds has got like a balloon animal sword, and he just bops her on the head with it. It's fantastic. I
gotta check that
I don't
out.
know if it's marketing for Deadpool or X-Men, but it's amazing for both.
I hope it's for both.
Yeah, I
hope we're starting to see a small bridge
Yeah.
being formed between
Well-
some of these things and let it
Well,
happen.
I can't talk about the movie, but if I could, you would know that maybe there's some other stuff in there.
You can't talk about the movie. I'm gonna try to see it on Sunday.
Go see the freaking movie then. You stifle me, freaking Gestapo.
Hey, for this time, it's not just me censoring you.
I know.
There was, of course, a spot for Deadpool, but if you weren't convinced to see Deadpool by now.
But like
don't
they
listen to the show.
took the Red Band trailer and took out all the curse words.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I went, I don't like this.
Independence Day Resurgence.
Boo.
I did not know that.
That was the first movie they showed you, right? When they started your MK Ultra training with Independence
Yeah,
Day.
how to
Yes, that's
successfully
exactly what they
infiltrate
did.
America.
I want you to blow up the White House just like they did in this movie.
It's gonna be really hard. You don't have a spaceship.
This
That we
podcast
know
has now
of.
been flagged because I said the words "blow up the White House." Oh wait, just did it again. Now we're screwed. If you're
Dude,
still listening,
when
I
the
don't know how you
NSA
did
shows
it.
up on your door, I'm not bailing you out.
Are they going to show
3
up
in the morning.
on the door?
It's
Are they
just
going
us
to be
and the
inverted?
guns.
Really, you weren't? I mean, you didn't care at all about another Independence Day movie, Josh?
Was Will Smith in it?
No,
Then I don't care. The only saving grace there is Jeff Goldblum is still there, but
Bill Pullman's still
no.
there.
Yeah, but I hate to ask, is Judd Hirsch alive? Is he still alive?
Who?
Jeff Goldblum's dad in the first movie.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah, he's still in it.
He's
Well,
in
then-
the movie.
Oh, he's in the movie?
Yeah, he's in the movie.
Then maybe
He's been in the trailer.
All right, then I'll give it a shot. I haven't the trailer comes on, I'm like, dumb. Next.
All right. Then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
Yes.
Also
all
had a
the
trailer.
yes.
Oh my gosh, super excited. They showed Krang, and it made me really happy. I'm not joking. It made me really happy.
I had the little kid in me is like, yay! So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with this. It looks great. And then 10 Cloverfield Lane, which I mean, did we talk about this last episode?
Creepy.
No, you refuse to let me talk about it.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. This is awesome.
So I'm super excited. I enjoyed Cloverfield, unlike some pod people on this recording. And the idea
That's me, by the way, just in case
I
anyone's
don't
wondering.
know what Cloverfield is, but that was the trailer that was like in the beginning of the Super Bowl. Is very creepy.
yeah, with them
people,
all
like,
in the bomb
bunker
shelter.
with
Yeah, good no. Go
John Goodman. Really?
hard pass.
So technically it's a sequel to Cloverfield. I don't even remember what year it came out because I didn't realize we were going to talk about this. I'm sorry. But J.J. Abrams made this movie and nobody knew about it because I guess they were all focused on the fact that he was making Star Wars and it comes out
when
next
the hell
month.
did he have time to do this movie?
He probably did it before Star Wars.
By the way, it was 2008 Cloverfield.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Josh, the reason you probably didn't hear about it is one of those found footage movies,
It's
which like made me
They chase
have
around
vertigo
with
and
a
throw
camera.
up.
No, yeah, no.
Oh, I
It's
literally
not-
almost left the theater. I almost got sick.
CJ.
Chronicle is the only movie that's kind of like that I enjoy. 'Cause
Project
it
Almanac
wasn't-
is a good one that handles it correctly, and Cloverfield
No,
does
I
not.
can't-
I'm sorry,
I can't
Brian.
do
Go ahead. Talk about your beloved Cloverfield.
No, that's fine. You all hate it, so I'll just stop talking.
No, I look. I've never seen it. I just have no interest.
I highly enjoyed it, and I hate those found footage movies too. The shaky cam stuff was kind of kept to a minimum, except when they're like running through the streets, and it's like it's this alien Godzilla type movie where like this thing is just destroying New York, and these guys are trying to find their loved ones and escape. I thought it was fantastic. The idea of them doing a sequel, which I'm assuming is after the events of this movie and the alien is still out there, I think it's really cool. So I'm really excited.
But what's good about this though is that they ditched the whole found footage.
Yeah,
thing
well, because it's
entirely.
not 2008 anymore, and Blair Witch Project has been out for a gajillion years.
So
That was like 90, 98, 99.
Yeah, there was some huge fad for like 10 years of found footage
Dude.
films.
Look, that movie was terrifying, especially if like you saw it opening night and you didn't know it was fake. Like that was terrifying.
Oh, see, I always knew it was fake.
You were like, were we like?
by the
10?
way, the Blair Witch was 1999.
1999, I was...
So there was
13.
10-year gap. By the way, I don't know
you
why
didn't go see that in the theater.
No, I didn't. I had no desire to see it in the theater. I was too busy seeing Star Wars The Phantom Menace in 99. I'm sorry, no, 99 was X-Men. X-Men
They were
1 came out in
both.
99.
Oh, okay, never mind. You're good. But what's great about this is we're ditching the found footage thing. We've got looks like a 3-person cast, and the big question is you kind of have to choose between two evils. It's either whatever John Goodman's doing to them in this bunker, or going out into the world that's unknown that apparently is inhabited by this crazy mutant alien thing.
Why? Just no.
It looks really good. Did you
No.
No,
No.
not. I mean, not even nothing.
Hard pass.
Huh?
Now, CJ, when Josh says hard pass, means he's never going to see this movie.
Not ever.
I'm just saying the words hard pass being used means never going to see.
When it comes to movies, I will always be flexible and bendable. Okay, so that concludes all the Super Bowl ads for movies. Please go ahead and go to our website and check it out so you can go ahead and watch the actual trailers. And
We were
now,
talking about Super Bowl ads?
yeah, the Super Bowl ads.
Mm.
So now I want to move on to something that I'm actually really excited to talk about, and that is the shows that have been canceled in 2016 thus far. And my favorite thing that's on the list that has been canceled is Heroes Reborn. It's officially off my television. Yay!
It truly is. Yeah, they just started releasing the lists of things that are not coming back, didn't make the cut. And Josh, I know you're probably sad to hear, but the first thing that I read on here was that Heroes Reborn will not be returning.
Yeah, and that is I liked it. So I mean,
made even worse by the fact that they set it up for a second season.
Right.
Which is
no
weird.
closure. No closure ever.
Nope, no closure. You'll have to deal with the way things ended and never know who's his is and what's their face's dad is, because I don't remember their names.
I was like, what?
I don't remember their names. That's how much I love the show. I don't remember the
show
freaking
is
names.
that memorable that you can just like say that.
Josh, help me out here. Do you remember their names?
No, Nathan and
Nathan and the blonde chick. Okay, anyway.
the blonde chick. She's not important enough at this point.
Some other shows, and I'm just going to hit some of the big ones here. NBC will not be renewing. Obviously, we knew about Hannibal. They also will not be renewing Best Time Ever with Neil Patrick Harris.
I never even watched that, and I really wanted to.
I did. It was enjoyable. I can see why they canceled it. It was one of those shows that, hey, if there's nothing on, I'll watch it. Not one of those shows that I would make sure I watch every week.
And yet lip sync battle is still on TV.
Yes, it is. And
I like that show.
I may or may not have just watched it.
Tony used to be
too.
evil
I don't
on
ever
LL Cool
watch
J
it.
and Chrissy
Like,
Teigen.
I don't ever plan to watch it.
That show is great.
Anyway, among that list, also NBC will not be bringing back The Player, which starred Wesley Snipes. And
I didn't even hear about that show.
Oh.
Shock me.
It was good. I actually kind of enjoyed it.
So let's talk about some shows that are going to stay, all right? Because there's a couple that we brought up in the beginning of the year, and we said, hey, yay. So Blind Spot is staying. By the way, the Blacklist is going on, so that's a good part there. So, I mean, I know we had talked about Blind Spot. Was there any show that we had talked about earlier in the year that we were excited for that is staying around, or did they all go away, Brian?
For the most part, I mean, Ash vs. Evil Dead got renewed for a second season.
Cool.
Supergirl. I mean, some of the stuff that premiered late, like Supergirl and those, like DC Legends of Tomorrow, none of them have officially announced it yet. I have yet to hear anything about Limitless or like The Grinder. They haven't released those things yet, but at this point, I think they would continue going on. Oh,
I think
I will say this:
Minority Report
got canceled. Thank God. That show was awful. But yeah, I mean, other than that, out of the things that we've like really been mentioning, those are really the tops, things that will not be returning. So don't even start watching it because you will not get closure. And
Netflix renewed more than they canceled. A lot more.
Netflix always renews more than they cancel.
I'm just saying, like, it's almost everything. I can't, I'm looking at this list and I'm not seeing really anything that Netflix said, oh, this wasn't really good enough to keep going. So I'm thrilled about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, Netflix has become the new gold standard.
I say that because I don't watch
good TV.
I don't watch network television like at all. I mean, I watch Heroes when I remember that it's on my DVR, but I don't. From the time the Super Bowl ended until the draft, I won't turn on the television.
You'll watch Arrow and Flash. You just watch them on Hulu.
I'm gonna get back into them, but like I watch them 5 episodes at a time. I wait till there's 5 there. I watch all 5, and then I go back. I don't like. Well, I can't do an hour of television and then not have 8 more hours to follow.
I mean, there's certain we've had this discussion before. There's certain shows I have to watch every week. Those being among them. And then there's shows that I wait to binge.
All right. Well, I mean, the good news is this: the shows that we love, they're staying, and the ones that we don't are leaving. I'm glad to see some of them go. I'm Minority Report. I don't know how we got past a pilot, but whatever. It's gone, so now you never have to watch it. It takes one less thing off of our nerdy plate to watch, and to be honest, some of the stuff that we were watching was never even a threat to being canceled. So good to go. But Heroes was one of them that I thought we should bring up. We were very excited to hear about it when it initially was talked about, but Brian said it even took him like 7 episodes to even care about the show.
Way
So
too long.
if you can't even get a core audience to care,
Way too long.
That stinks. So let's move on. Let's move on to another topic then. If you had any questions though, or if you had any theories or feelings about some shows being canceled, we want to hear about that though. So if you are saddened about Heroes and you think I'm being a little too just flippy on it, just call me out on it. That's fine. We all know what happens when you call me out, but whatever, it's fine.
Man of low integrity ignores you calling him out.
So let's talk about this. Rolling Stone put out a list of the 40 greatest TV villains.
You do know
of
the
all
Rolling
time.
Stones don't actually write the magazine, right?
Yeah, I'm well aware.
It's just
because
the name
cover
of
of
the
a Rolling
magazine.
Stone and the cover of a Rolling Stone. Don't worry about that. It's a John Mayer quote. You can let that happen.
No, I can't.
Yeah, you can. So number 40 on this list, by the way, I was very happy to see this, was Kilgrave from Jessica Jones.
Of all time?
Of 40 greatest TV villains of all time.
I'll allow it for now.
Kilgrave last place, but still on the list.
Still, I mean, he just showed up this year. I mean, that's pretty impactful to even end up on this list.
Skeletor!
I was going to say Skeletor is at 37. So if you're a He-Man fan, you'd be pretty excited.
Reverse Flash is on here.
Did none of you look at the list beforehand?
Nope.
I like to look through these lists and then act surprised.
Yeah, I like to be surprised. I don't like to script this shit.
For all those Buffy fans out there, The Gentleman is number 33. That's a great
over
episode.
Trinity? How you skip over Trinity?
Are you just gonna? I was just gonna say, are you gonna skip over John Lithgow of the Trinity Killer? That was a great freaking John Lithgow as a villain is phenomenal.
The Master comes in at number 30, but they don't I would have featured Missy there. Missy being the best of the Master.
Well, I think they're just saying because right now they note that he in quotes is currently played by a woman, so they are acknowledging the whole lineage of the Master.
Well, Missy is the best Master, and then I don't know if either of you ever watched the series Spartacus, Blood and Sand.
Yes.
Or okay, you did. So
yeah,
Lucretia was Lucy Lawless. She was phenomenal in this show. So
and then the worst human being ever.
Hated her so much. She was Cersei Lannister before we knew who Cersei Lannister was. I'm not sure if the article says that, but that's how I feel about her now.
There actually is. Literally right at the end of the quote, they equate her to Cersei Lannister.
There you go.
But yeah, she was evil and I hated her for everything. Skipping down the list though, another Netflix villain made it on here. Wilson Fisk is on here at 26.
Absolutely.
That's pretty high up.
Well, I mean, we haven't gotten down the list. So I think that Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin is phenomenal, but I mean, keep in mind what we've seen so far. Not a whole lot. Right? We've seen him developing into Kingpin, but we're only at Genesis right now. So
he did decapitate somebody with a door.
I know, but that's
no, but I mean that. I mean that makes sense.
I mean, significantly more evil and diabolical.
Right. I have a question for you, Josh. Knowing how much of a love you have for Mad Men, are you surprised to see Duck Phillips on number 23?
I'm not because I'm rewatching Mad Men right now. So I will say that I am not surprised by that. I like the call because you really hated how much he tried to undermine Don and put himself in a position of authority over Don Draper because he just didn't like him. He didn't like what he was about. He didn't agree with his philosophies. And so, yeah, the dude was absolutely a villain.
They call him the anti-Draper. Do you think that's a fair... Do you think that's fair?
He really is. He's like dry toast, man. He's just I'm for real. He's like the most boring dude to ever walk the face of the planet. Says a lot of shit, never backs it up to where, you look at Don Draper. He's a man of few words, but they mean something every time he speaks.
Right, okay. And And Duck says a lot and doesn't mean a whole
he's
lot.
always talking and never saying shit.
That's true. Okay, all right. Valid
Right
point.
now,
I do like the cigarette smoking man from X-Files at number 21.
yes, but you did it again. You skipped over Vern Schillinger.
I skipped over a show I have never seen.
Look, Oz was one of those shows that really put HBO on the map, and this is before you knew who J.K. Simmons was.
Before he was J.K. Simmons.
Well, I mean, I think he had been on Law and Order, and I'm sure he had done a bunch of other stuff. But as a kid, I didn't know who he was, and this character was horrific. I mean, he was just, you hated him. Smoking Man, X-Files, absolutely. Dude was just shrouded in mystery all the time.
I'm skipping over like the next 4.
The next one was the governor for me on The Walking Dead.
Of course, I wanted to skip over that.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I liked him. He's a great villain. I know Josh doesn't like zombies, but what a great character. What a great actor. He was on Doctor Who. There you go.
I've gone beyond that to Newman. I don't think he should be on this list. Because he's not a villain. He is just the ridiculous person. You know what I mean? He's the extreme.
Well, I don't know. Newman stopped Jerry from a lot of success, cost him a couple of relationships. He was out to ruin a few aspects of Jerry's life.
Nobody, I mean, when you were watching it, he was just the guy who was a pain in the ass. You never thought of him as a villain.
Well, I mean, you can say the same thing about Duck from Mad Men.
No. He was deliberately trying to undermine the character, you know what I mean? The main character.
Do you remember the episode? See, this is the beauty of my crappy existence where I am just binge watching Seinfeld right now, about to finish it. But I mean, the episode of The Virgin where Jerry's trying really hard and he's doing everything he possibly can so he can go ahead and be with this woman, and then Newman. You know what Newman is,
though? He is Wile E. Coyote. In the end, an anvil always falls on his head.
Oh, damn! That's such a good analogy. Fuck, nope, you absolutely win. I will concede.
I'm not even wearing a tie.
You have one.
I'm not even wearing a tie. All right? I'm just saying.
Unless there's some other people you guys want to talk about, I was going to skip down to number 10 here.
Nope, because I just ran upon one.
He's still justified, I bet, right?
Oh, you can't put Walt Goggins on a list and have me not see him, right? So I'll say this. Boyd Crowder from Justified is an amazing villain. And this is Walton Goggins I absolutely love as an actor. He does everything well. And as a matter of fact, his character from the show The Shield should be on this list. And I haven't seen it yet, which makes me a little mad face. But Boyd Crowder is an amazing villain. And if that's the only Justified villain that's on here, then they're overlooking the show Justified.
I think a lot of people overlook the show Justified. Yeah. I mean, honestly.
Jip Rossetti from Boardwalk Empire, Bobby Cannavale is a great actor. And Jip was one of the more ruthless... No, he was one of the more ruthless opponents that Nucky faced. So I really like him on this list as well.
I think that Brian is about to explode if we don't get to the one he's going to get to, and I think it's Catwoman here on Bad.
Talk about your Boardwalk Empire. Just another show I need to add to the list of things I need to watch. Oh,
you haven't watched Boardwalk Empire? Good. What's wrong with you? Next, you're going to tell me you haven't watched The Sopranos, and shut your mouth.
I haven't.
Oh my God, you haven't watched The Sopranos?
Brian!
I've watched The Sopranos.
You have to disconnect right now and go watch The Sopranos from start to finish.
I've seen the first half of the first season.
No! Oh my God! What the fuck is going on with you? Oh my God! Is this what you guys feel like every time I open my mouth?
Oh my God!
Is this what you feel like?
The sky is falling.
Brian, what the fuck, dude?
I watched a little bit of it while I was still working at the video store, and I just never finished it.
I have watched that
series
please, for the love of
8
God?
times. 7 times.
Josh can't rewatch that series because he gets too violent when he sleeps.
I'm not allowed to watch it anymore. Like, I'm not allowed to binge watch it. I do. I get very demonstrative in my sleep. I sleep fight, but in a mobster kind of way. It's nasty. So you need to watch this series.
Oh my God!
It's the whole reason. I'm
so disappointed right now, and I wonder if this is what you guys feel like.
The whole mystique of these hour-long shows, that's it. That's what did it.
That's what made modern TV right now possible.
Oh, Brian.
I can't believe this. Brian. All right, please talk about Catwoman and try to redeem yourself right now.
By all means,
please.
fucking Catwoman. Let's go.
Now, which Catwoman are they referring to? Is it the
Julie
whole
Newmar.
character of
The
Catwoman,
whole
like the
character.
master?
Yeah, but let's face it, Julie Newmar did it best. But she was played by three people in the '60s Batman. It was Julie Newmar, Lee Merriweather, and Eartha Kitt, and they all did fantastic.
Eartha Kitt was
I mean,
creepy as hell.
yeah, she was.
So let's do the top 10 because that was number 10.
Yeah, so number
let's
10
do the
was
top 10.
Catwoman. Number 9, I really enjoyed too, being the Borg from Star Trek Next Generation.
Scared the shit out of me. I couldn't watch
I've
it.
never
Every
watched an
time.
episode.
Every time there was a Borg episode, it was like the best episode.
Ooh, there was
of
something
that
on
season.
Imager today. It was Ernest from the Borg 9. It was Ernest Borgnine's face with a thing over it. I didn't
Oh,
get
God,
the
I've never
reference,
seen
but
that.
I thought, hey, Ernest Borgnine. It's good to see you.
Number 8 is Montgomery Burns from The Simpsons.
Yeah, all right.
I don't really have a whole lot to say about him, and nor this next thing because I've never finished this show either.
Oh my god, you haven't finished Breaking Bad.
Gus Fring from Breaking Bad.
Oh my god. Yes, Gus Fring from Gus's Chicken. I'm sorry, from Los
Pollos
Pollos
Hermanos.
I'm
Hermanos.
halfway
My
through
apologies.
season 3. I'm halfway through
What a
season 3.
great
Giancarlo
villain.
Esposito
No,
did
this-
very well with this role, and he was a phenomenal villain in the kind of a comic book mastermind villain type way.
They had the line here, and it's so true because he has a very soft way of speaking, and it finds the right tone to just pierce through you without shouting or anything. And he has a line. He's like, "I will kill your infant daughter," and just fucking shudders. I mean, shudders every time I read it. He's amazing. And Brian, you haven't finished this. Do you finish anything?
I finished a lot of things, actually.
I feel like you say that you finish things, but you really don't.
I finish a lot of things, but
The next 45 minutes of this podcast is going to be devoted to number 6 and Josh Burns.
Number 6 should be number 1 because he is maybe one of the best villains ever written, and he was a real person. Al Swearingen from Deadwood. If you haven't watched Deadwood, listener, I beseech you, go watch Deadwood right now. The use of the English language and the prose and the way that they interject the most filthy, obscene vulgarity is not only comical, but it makes you feel like, wait, did they just pepper in the word cocksucker there? What?
It's poetic swearing.
It's amazing. And my favorite thing about Al is that no matter how fond he seemed of someone, he was always looking for his own angle. And that made him even more lovable in my eyes, is that he's true to himself. And the man you never expect him to do anything but what he does. So I think he should be number 1. Also, Joffrey Baratheon this is the most noteworthy villain they thought to put on for Game of Thrones, and I don't think he's anywhere close to as good a villain as.
Did you just skip 5?
Oh yeah, who cares about Twin Peaks?
Did you just pull? Did you pull a thrill list? Well, I'm just saying you pull a thrill list. And,
All right. 5 was Bob from Twin Peaks.
a lot of people care about Twin Peaks, but we can skip over it.
Nobody
for Josh.
under 40.
So number 4 was Joffrey Baratheon. I disagree with this too.
Littlefinger, Cersei, both better villains.
I mean, if anyone from Game of Thrones you can pull on, that's the wrong person. Yes, people hated him the most, but he wasn't. He's sinister, but not for the right reasons. If he was an adult, it wouldn't be as scary. The fact that he was a kid is what made people like cringe at what he did. But look at the cast around him. Look at the other people doing far worse stuff. So I disagree.
Oh, hey, number 3 from the show I haven't seen.
Olivia Soprano was Tony Soprano's mother. I don't know if I'm crazy about the placement for a few reasons, but I think that the bigger villain was Phil Leotardo, and that's the way the series ends up. Basically, he does more damage to Tony's current status, right? Olivia Soprano just ruined him, from the time he was a child. But that's you really can't. That's a whole lot of Freudian jack that you don't want to get into.
Hey, number 2 is from a show I've never seen either.
God.
Oh my God, Brian.
We should just do a whole episode of shows I've never seen and you getting angry at me.
Brian's never seen The Wire either. And
Jesus.
number 2 is Marlo Stanfield, who was a standout villain, very cold, calculating, sort of in the same vein as Gus Fring.
Yes.
Very, very much a step ahead all the time, very smart, calculating, careful, solid drug kingpin, and great villain.
This guy was fucking ruthless. This is another guy who didn't
not
hold
only
back.
didn't hold back, never said a word, never raised his voice, but bodies just dropped everywhere. Just
Yep.
He looks like the type of guy who's dropping bodies.
dropped bodies everywhere.
I just want to contribute to the conversation. I've never seen the
What
show.
an amazing villain, and I think well placed it too. I don't understand this last one.
I don't understand
Well,
number one at
I've
all.
never watched
Oh.
Lost ever.
I've actually
never watched
seen
Lost.
most of Lost. So
Wait, it's again another show Brian's never finished.
Y-
Okay,
okay,
thank
so
you.
here's-
You're establishing the pattern.
there's plenty of reasons why I didn't finish Lost, because it has some very giant flaws, and I think even fans of the show would admit to that. But Benjamin Linus, as the villain, I mean, he was a pretty great villain. He was one of these characters that, again, you never knew what his angle was. His angle was always about self-preservation and what he thought was the greater good, and just manipulating everybody in the show to his own end. It was, I mean, I wouldn't say it was terrifying, but it was pretty believable. I think, I don't know if I would place him at number 1.
No,
I don't think I agree with that placing,
I'm vacating his number 1 title.
but I do think he was a good villain.
I think what should be number 1 is Brian's inability to finish a
Can we
series.
place
or
CJ?
watch it.
Can we place Al Swearingen in there, or do you have another opinion?
No, I think Al Swearingen would be a perfect.
I
fit
actually
for
do
number
have
1.
another opinion. The whatever alien race dropped the pod that it contains CJ should be at number 1.
But because there's no physical evidence for that, no, I will go with Al. I think, just like you said, even in his best moments, he still doesn't give a shit about the other person. It's about what can he get from it. He's truly a person that even when he appears to be good and doing something noble, it has this other sinister reasoning to it. I mean, that's a mark of a great
I have
villain.
to add, and I think this list is missing a few, but to not include any of the recurring villains from Sons of Anarchy is a mistake, because there were some. Alan Arkin was a solid villain. He really was.
I haven't seen something.
Not Alan. I'm sorry, Adam
Would you-
Arkin. Wow, Adam Arkin.
Since now I've learned Brian hasn't seen Sons of Anarchy, I won't spoil it, and I'm just saying I think there's someone else from.
Oh, there
Sons of
is, but I
Anarchy that
can't
could be
say it either. You can't. It just. Well, fuck it. I'm just gonna say it. I don't care, Brian. Gemma's the best villain you'd ever see.
Yes.
and way more convincing as a villain than any other female on this list. I'd be fine with Gemma at 3, actually.
I think that's a better fit for it because Gemma's personality is great. So listen, there's a ton of this. Obviously, a few that we've skipped over. Maybe shows that you love. We're going to post the link in our show notes. So if you're using the iTunes app, just tap the album artwork. It'll flip around and you can go ahead and view the full list on Rolling Stone. But we're really curious as to who you think should be number 1 because I think we're all in agreement that that's not the right choice. So who do you think should be there? Who do you think isn't on the list but should be? We love doing this kind of stuff. So we want to hear from you guys, though. We'd rather hear
Villains,
from the fans.
TV
and
villains.
stooges stuff.
Oh, wait. No, I'm sorry. I have to end this contest right now. I forgot about an amazing HBO show with the ultimate villain.
Okay.
It was Band of Brothers, and the villain was Hitler. I win.
Okay.
Hitler was the villain in Band of Brothers.
Hitler is the villain. Yes. No, I still want to hear somebody else then besides someone who obviously really is the worst human being in the history of civilization. So please, all you have to do is a couple things. You can hit us up at Twitter at That Kind of Nerd. You can get us on Facebook when you just search That Kind of Nerd. And of course, you can always call us, which is something that we're going to get into in a second. But all you have to do is call 484-373-4119. you can leave a message. You don't have to worry about talking to anybody. You'll get a machine. I promise you that the cats in Brian's apartment have no access to it
they
whatsoever.
Possibly the ratio from cats to males is so low.
It's you're absolutely right, Josh. It's so low that they won't even interfere with our answering service. So you're absolutely right. So make sure to give us a call for that. So that brings us to the next part here, which is a couple messages from you, the listeners, maybe even you listening to this show, perhaps right now.
Wow, what just happened with your voice right there?
I was trying to get my dog's attention again. She had such a great time being on the show last week. I thought I'd bring her on. So I would like to play a message. Actually, we'd like to play 3. 2 of them are from one person, kind of calling
Just
Josh
play
out.
the machine. Don't, narrate it. Let's go.
So, this is Craig, listening to episode 40 now, talking about Suicide Squad. I thought the trailer was awesome. I have no idea anything about Suicide Squad, but I don't think these movies are created exclusively for people who know everything about Suicide Squad. Otherwise, they wouldn't sell tickets. So I know Brian has kind of a thing for Harley Quinn, and she doesn't have that accent, but I didn't know she had an accent, and I think she looks awesome in the movie.
Yup.
I was going to go on a bigger tangent, but I really lost my train of thought.
So that's the first message. So
That was really calling me out more than Josh.
Oh, that didn't call me out at all. He actually agrees with me right there.
He
yeah. So
does.
I'm sorry. The first one is for Brian, so you have my
The first
apologies.
one
But
is for
Brian,
me.
okay. He threw the true believer card.
Good job,
at you.
Craig. Nice job. Way to represent Average Joe.
Craig, I completely agree that these movies are not made for true believer me. I agree with you. I don't think they would sell all the tickets if they were just made for me. But I do think there is a place to make reference or at least stay true to the source material and the characters, which is what annoys me. That's the only thing.
Here's my biggest takeaway from that. Actually, was that someone who doesn't know much about the comic book universe like this is actually really excited for this movie, which is a fear of mine that maybe the general public won't care about the Suicide Squad. Craig's a pretty good representation of liking nerdy things but not being quote unquote a nerd. So I actually think it's really cool that he's excited to see that movie, and the fact that we're all fanboys going, I don't know, doesn't mean anything. So that's a good news.
Speak for yourself,
that.
fanboy.
All right.
I don't want to be thrown in the same little pool as you and Brian, because
It's middle school.
It's
all
very
over again.
easy for me to separate the fanboy from, this is what's going to sell. I understand what's going to sell, and I can leave it at that.
All I'm hearing, Josh, is that I can't sit at the cool table with you.
Brian, you are always invited to sit with me wherever I go.
So here's the next part. You agreed with Craig and welcomed his feedback with Brian, and now I wonder if you're gonna do the same. Here we go.
All right, so you guys are talking about the guitar in Hateful Eight, and Josh is kind of making light of the fact that it's wood and string. Never mind the fact that something as delicate as an acoustic guitar survived that long, which is a feat in itself. But for a guitar to survive that long and the sound that it can produce from living that long, yeah, you can reproduce it, you can build one to look just like it, but you'll never get the sound that is going to come from something that's lived that long. Unsanded, that's not the word I'm looking for, but a guitar that old, the sound that it can produce can never be reproduced again. Something that old and to survive that long is truly priceless. There aren't many Martin guitars pre-World War. It's really, really a big deal. And I know Martin is upset, but the guitar community, people that collect guitars, they're truly upset and really, really upset about this. I've read some different articles on different guitar forums and stuff, and people are truly upset about this. First off, Martin guitars are, when it comes to acoustic, they are the best. There is no other name out there that compare to them, and there's not many guitars that are pre-World War that exist. So this is a really, really big deal. I know Josh doesn't see the value in it, but priceless is the real number. There's a reason they're not putting a dollar amount on it, because priceless really is what that guitar is worth.
Oh, the tables have turned.
So he feels like you really kind of just blazed over it.
I'm sorry, CJ. Did you? I fell asleep. There's started talking. I fell asleep,
Oh God.
and then you guys made a sound, and I woke up. Was there something?
You sat there and said, "Oh, I'm so glad he's talking to Brian. Oh, I agree with this opinion." And now suddenly the tune is changing.
I'm sorry, I didn't change my tune. I just fell asleep.
Listen, the point of how important that guitar is to not just Martin Guitar, but to people in general. You said nobody cares. It's just wood and string, essentially. I'm paraphrasing, of course, because I can never say it as eloquently as you, Josh.
As bluntly.
But the point is, people care. It's a major deal for something like that to happen, and something just to be so reckless with something that is priceless. It's like taking the Mona Lisa out of the freaking museum and bashing someone over the head with it.
I want you to think about this. How many? I mean, I'm not even sure you could ballpark a number, but like, think about the population of true believer comic book fans. All right, when you think about it, and you think about all the cons you've been to, and you think about the online responses, things like that, seems like a pretty big number population-wise, right? Now, I want you to try to imagine the people that are that passionate about acoustic guitars. And you probably think about a much smaller number. And while I understand that what happens with age, especially to organic material, can't ever be reproduced, I'm just saying I'm not really sure they were planning on recording anything with that fucking guitar. Who cares?
See, I'm really interested in the history.
That goddamn thing wasn't going to get played by anybody for any reason anytime soon. No one is going to hear
it's not about
what it can reproduce, and probably
technically anybody who saw The Hateful Eight heard what it could reproduce.
I'm not sure. I'm not convinced that was the guitar that played, because it's very likely, being that it had this antique status, that you're not allowed to tighten the strings and you're not allowed to make any modifications, which is going to make tuning it pretty fucking difficult. So, my point is, who gives a shit?
I would say our listener Craig and the people on the guitar forums.
You know what? Josh just pulled a CJ.
No, that's not possible.
This has been a lot of. Is this what I look like to you guys?
Was a Josh Burns. and that is that. Look, I get it. You feel some kind of way about it. Okay, cool. Feel that way. I got no problem with how you feel. I don't have to feel that way, and your argument didn't sway me in the least. So, if you have a better argument, I'll be glad to listen to it. But as it stands, I don't see anybody enjoying music produced by that particular piece of wood and string. And if it can't be put to practical use, right now, look, the whole comic book world would freak out if you tore up Submariner #1 or Action Comics number whatever the fuck. But, I mean, that's something that's just paper. Now, who gives a shit?
But you'll never ever have the opportunity to ever have that sound again. You can still reprint Action Comic #1, and the story is still the same.
Something. I listened to the podcast and I realized that I talked about watching a guitar be made out of like a broomstick and a Coke
I was gonna say with
it's
Jack Black.
White.
Yes,
I don't know if it was the bourbon talking or what it was, but I would never make that kind of mistake. Jack White is a musical genius, and Jack Black is an overgrown child.
Well, okay. If that's how you want to feel about it, so
that's not how I want to feel.
I agree with you.
I know. All right, so Craig, I at least appreciate you leaving 2 voicemails. There's one more, and this is the
I never said I
moment.
didn't appreciate his voicemail. I absolutely appreciate his voicemail.
No, I didn't say that you didn't.
Well, you implied that I didn't.
I didn't mean to imply it, sir. My apologies.
Apology not accepted. Play the next thing.
So, fair warning: the next voicemail that we're going to listen to is a little bit, just tiny bit pertaining to Deadpool. If you're one of those people who don't know anything, pause now. Thanks for listening. But now we can go ahead and play this one and get some feedback on it.
Hi, I just finished watching Deadpool, and I have a million questions. This is a new listener, Heidi, and I'm a fan of the show, really fabulous show. Who is Cable? And what was Deadpool as a comic book series like? Was it a series or was it just like one comic magazine, whatever, once? Because it was all comedy. It wasn't your typical Marvel comic series at all. That movie was all comedy. It was like Scream was to horror movies. Anyway, I need more information. Please let us know, the listeners. Thank you. Good show.
Yeah, so for those people who don't want to hear about Deadpool, you got a really crappy exit. Anyway, so I guess this is for me, right? I mean, I should have to answer this.
Yeah, I think that's for you. So let's hit that. Let's see what we got.
All right. Well, there's only really 2 questions in there, and I will be more than happy to answer them, Heidi, because there is a very small reference to Cable in that movie. Cable, in terms of the character, is okay. I need you to stick with me because this is gonna get really timey-wimey and convoluted, and I'm sorry.
Comic booky.
It's very comic booky, so I need you to hone in and listen to the melodious, nerdy voice of the history of Cable. Because I'm going to try and keep it very, very smooth and delicate and very simple for you.
Oh, yes, Cable.
You want me to explain it in the Bane voice?
No,
Please don't explain it in the Bane voice. No,
it was
no.
in my head. That's all.
Damn it. Sorry, Laura. No Bane voice.
It is Laura's absolute favorite podcast feature.
It's Laura.
It really is. It seriously is.
I'm so glad, Laura. Anyway, back to you, Heidi. Cable is a time-traveling mutant. And this is where it's going to get confusing. He is the son of Cyclops, who you know from the X-Men movies.
Scott Summers.
Scott Summers, who was born in the future, but has come back to the past originally he comes back to right one specific wrong to try and save his future, and he ends up staying in the present with us here, and has been a part of a number of teams like X-Force and the New Mutants and that kind of thing. He and Deadpool have this very kind of love-hate relationship going on because there is a series, comic book series, Cable and Deadpool, where they are kind of, it's a buddy cop almost comic book, and they're kind of forced into this situation where they have to work together, and they kind of end up becoming friends because of it. And that's really all you need to know about Cable. He's a really interesting character, a really kind of rugged, kind of seen, world type of thing, and wants to go back to the past and make the world a better place. And Deadpool just likes screwing with him. So that's the answer to your first question. And if I didn't get it detailed and simple enough, let me know, and I will definitely go into more detail with you at another time. When we're talking about,
preferably over some Apple products over breakfast.
Oh, am I eating breakfast on the Apple products now? I'm confused.
I thought you had an old iPad used as a plate.
No,
is that not?
I don't.
I figured they were just commonplace for you. I thought they were just paperweights.
Anyway, in answer to your question about how the comic books kind of relate to the way the movie was portrayed, honestly, that movie captured the entire essence of what Deadpool is as a comic book. It's very humorous, it's very violent, and it's very vulgar, and that's exactly what you got out of that movie. So if you are interested, and I'll say this to all the readers interested in reading a little bit of Deadpool, just go back into some of his early stuff in the 90s, and you'll get that feeling. It's very, very maniacal and very all over the place, but hilarious and entertaining stories all at the same time. I think that answers them. Did I miss something there?
From what I got, no. There's just many books, right? I mean,
there's many leather-bound books. No, there's a couple different series. He had a couple different mini-series after his first appearance, and then he had just Deadpool coming out for a while, and that ran for a long time until it became Cable and Deadpool. So I would start there. Start with the first series, and just read, and if you enjoy them, keep reading them, because a lot of crazy shit happens in that series, a lot of entertaining stuff, and a lot of breaking the fourth wall and some zany Deadpool antics, which is exactly what you got in that movie.
The final piece came also via a text that I had gotten on the That Kind of Nerd line. So you can also text us if you're one of those people who doesn't want to leave their voice. And Josh, I don't know if you've seen this trailer, and if not, you haven't missed out on anything. There was a trailer before Deadpool for a movie called Hardcore Henry.
Yes.
And let me say, this movie looks like a really cool idea that should have stopped at the 10-minute mark. It's all entirely in first person.
It's not even that it's just entirely in third person. It is
first person. Not third.
It's an action movie in first person. So there's like flips and him jumping on cars and him exploding shit and like
finding guns in a drawer.
So here's the thing, because I saw the trailer before Deadpool and I was like, this is an interesting idea. And even after a 2.5-minute trailer, I was like, I'm going to vomit in my popcorn bag. So I don't think I can handle an hour and a half even of this kind of thing. I don't know if I'm going to see this movie.
So Heidi had texted us that says, can we talk about this? It's going to give you vertigo, but it may be a hit with gamers. I think it looks awful. We agree with you. And I even think that gamers will see that and say, yeah, no, not good at all. So gonna have to side with you here and say really cool concept, terrible execution. I think you're right on, Heidi.
You remember the last 5 minutes of the horrible Doom movie that was all in first person?
No.
That's that movie.
I didn't see that.
Okay, it was awful.
Well, I guess I'm watching the trailer and I just don't get it. What's the...
Yeah, it's
I think
stupid.
it's an interesting concept, but the last time I really enjoyed watching anything from that point of view was The Hurt Locker, right? There were a few scenes in The Hurt Locker where you're looking through Jeremy Renner's eyes, and that's really the last time I liked anything that was like that. So,
yeah. So, again, I think really cool project. Maybe if you had a VR headset and it was a 10-minute interactive part, I think it'd be cool. I showed Brian stories once. I think it's a really cool thing, but not a full-length movie. Not going to happen. So, all right. Well, that's the show for this week. Again, I want to remind you guys that there's so many ways that you can go ahead and join Heidi, you can join Craig on getting your voice, your opinions, your questions onto the show.
Thank you, Heidi and Craig, by the way.
Yes, thank you very much for calling in and leaving messages and interacting with us. Nothing makes us happier. So there's a couple ways you can do that.
We really
Number
don't
one,
interact
guys,
with other people besides each other.
Very true.
I mean, at least I don't.
Well, I want to thank Craig and Heidi so much for leaving their voices literally for the show, as well as sending us some messages about some questions that they had. There's a couple ways that you can do that exact same thing. The first thing is you can call us at 484-373-4119 and actually have your voice on the show. Another great way to reach out to us and give us some feedback is just to leave us a review on iTunes. It takes about 2 minutes out of your life, and we definitely love to hear anything you have to say about the show. You can also rate us on Stitcher or wherever you found us. So you can just go ahead and do that. You can get us on Twitter at That Kind of Nerd. Our personal Twitter handles are also in the show notes. So if you want to follow us for just some other crazy shenanigans, go ahead and do that. Thank you so much for making us your walk around the neighborhood or your drive to work. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thanks for listening.
are you getting paid in Skittles? Am I missing? Can I get paid in Skittles?
Here we go. No. Hold on. We're going to do it this way.
I just love everything and everyone right now. Except for CJ.